Welcome back. This is Steve Jackson's Sorcery, Blind Playthrough Part 9. So when I got on today, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't reset it or move forward. It was just frozen. My save was basically corrupted. So I had to delete the save. Luckily they gave us chapters, so I was able to start at chapter 3. But I've lost all my loot that I had. Although I gained some stuff too. So I have 2 mils. I think it was the way I logged out. Like, I can't remember exactly how I logged out, but I believe I was on the resting. Like, after I rested, it said day 2 or day 3, something like that. And when I closed the game, next time I get on, I couldn't do anything. I'm not sure if that's the reason or not. But I don't have the sword or any of that stuff. But I don't have Lorog either. So that's a plus, I guess. He was annoying. But we'll just start from the beginning, I guess. The stones of the old road disappear under a layer of dust and sand. At your back looms the great wall of care. Ahead there is nothing but an empty waste and the night. Look back. You cast a last glance at Sayport, grateful to have left its walls. Out here you may be lonely, but you will not be betrayed. Trusted, set upon, or pickpocketed. Look up at the stars. You turn your gaze from Care up to the stars, wondering what fresh secret they may hold. For the pattern written between the stars are the source of all magic. Only too late do you realize you should have been on your guard. Passing a low hillock, you are suddenly beset by a screaming creature wielding a vicious-looking sword. It is a marsh goblin. There is no choice but to fight. Fight. You quickly draw your sword. Him for 3, sweet. The marsh goblin grits together rancid yellow teeth. It seems determined to take your throat. You lunge forward as the goblin tries to thrust its sword into your belly. You take advantage of its opening left side of its open left side to wound it. Okay, it's hit heavy. Sweet, another 3. The marsh goblin tries to move away, but you give chase, bringing your sword up and slashing for its head. Its own weak cutting sweep is easily knocked aside. The marsh goblin staggers back, cursing you by one of its many soggy gods. The goblin hefts its heavy sword in the air. Block. Warily you duck back across the dirt. Watching the marsh goblin closely, it jumps forward with a half-hearted swing with its oversized blade. But you turn it aside. You ready your focus. The creature's eyes you cautiously. Goblin is about to defend. That's because of the tips. I'm going to be able to hit him with just one. A moment later, you seize the advantage, hitting the goblin a quick slice across the side. The goblin's sword catches the worst of the impact. The marsh goblin hisses through bent teeth and pauses to adjust his tattered armor, unable to disguise the green blood that dribbles from underneath. Okay, hit heavy. You swing again, drive yourself onwards. The marsh goblin gurgles blood as it falls to the dirt. Skilled swordplay. Continue. You step back, wiping your sword in the dust. Let's search him. You quickly pat the pockets of the foul creature, but find nothing. Probably lose its teeth. Goblin's teeth are valuable for casting spells. You push back the dead goblin's upper lip with the point of your blade. Most of his teeth are rotten through, but a few are whole enough to be worth taking. You set to work, cutting them free. 3 teeth which you slip into your pack. Take its sword. You ease the sword free of the goblin's grasp and test its swing. Not goblin work. This is a well-weighted broadsword. You strap it to your belt. Then you move on, leaving the rest of the body for the ants and flies. Into the plains. Every step along the broken road takes you further from safety and into the unknown. Overhead constellations of magical force turn in the sky. Sa, Rus, and Sephox are in alignment. Here, now, the Sus spell could be cast. Every spell is formed by aligning 3 stars. The Sus spell will detect danger. Well, it's telling me to use a spell. My spirit changed into ape. You cast the spell, weaving the starlight into shape until a voice enters your mind and begins to speak. Its warning is clear and loud, and you're being stalked. You are being hunted. Okay. Look around. Hold these things again. You whirl around, but see nothing. Then you look up. The stars are disappearing behind a ripple veil of shadow. There is a rush of wings. A moment later, a vicious nighthawk has plunged from the sky, talons outstretched for your neck. Roll a sign. You hurl yourself to one side, just in time, and the sharp claws sweep past your neck to rake the dirt. The bird wheels up into the sky to rejoin its group. You count 4 birds circling, ready to attack. Perhaps there is a spell that would help you now? Let's see. So last time I fought them, and then after I fought them, Lorax says they could be your pet. Could have been your pet, I believe. Let's see, so I could zap them. Control non-intelligent creatures. Let's cast that. The birds are screaming down out of the sky just as you complete your spell. Then suddenly they freeze in midair and begin to beat their wings in a terrible confusion. You have control of their will, but what use will you turn it to? I could order them to carry me to Champagne for the next zone. I'm gonna try it. It is a terrifying moment, but one you can turn into your advantage. You command one of the birds to make a cage of its talons, and then you step inside, telling the creature to fly you across the Balkans. You are carried up into the air and away across the plains. In midair. It's got a Bird is the character. You are suspended, high above the desolate surface of the boglands. The nighthawk flies swiftly and high. You will be able to cross the wastes in no time. Look at the land ahead. Holding onto a claw for stability, you gaze out over the land ahead. In the distance, a double jaded peak like the tail of a serpent seems to dive into the rock, and on one side of it, a winding path rises to higher ground. Look further. Further still, you see great cracks in the earth and the horizon, and blurry line of treetops. The Bachlands is not entirely rocks and dust, it seems. The wings beat on, almost hypnotically. Fly onwards. In midair. Day 1. During the past day you have changed to using the broadsword, +1, and found no new clues. Continue. You have fallen into a daze, when you quite suddenly you are jerked backwards as the talons beneath you begin to open. Uh-oh. Cast a spell? Maybe you can use the same spell again? I can't remember what it was called. Those? No? Stop. So I'm probably not going to be able to skip. Just let me go over one of the spots that I had to use a spell for. To like fly across or something. Fall. Float in air. Is that the same thing? Okay. What about Z? Zap? No. Okay. Let's cling on. You cling desperately onto a talon, but it is thickly smooth and pointing straight down. There is nothing you can do. The talons open as the spell fades, and you begin to plunge downwards through the barrier. There is nothing between you and the very solid ground. What is my fate? You land painfully, but you are not on the ground. You have landed on something invisible in the mid-air. You are still moving. Cling on tight. You reach forwards with your hands, hoping to find something to cling onto, and your fingers close around rough surface. Not fur, but feathers. Invisible feathers. The creature below begins to shimmer into view. Oh, this is the creature from the beginning that gave me the message and some money. You watch and are amazed to find you have been caught in your fall by a golden-crested eagle from the king's eyrie in Analand. The eagle screams at the nighthawks, who scatter in fear. Then, very carefully, it wheels back southwards and sets you down onto the ground. I thought I was dead. Onto the ground. You return to the ground gratefully. The bird, now fully visible, watches you impassively. Bow? You bow your head to the eagle. It opens its beak in reply, and something falls to the ground. It is a message cylinder. Whatever it contains must be of vital importance, or the king would not have risked revealing your location like this to deliver it. Take the two. Okay, I read this last time. I will thank the eagle. You look up, but the golden-crested eagle has already rendered itself invisible once more. You feel the rush of air as the great wings lift it from the ground. Then you are alone. I think this time I'll keep the message. You roll the message up and slip it into your pack. It would seem the Blacklands are not as deserted as you had supposed. You must find these 7 serpents and destroy them, or your journey will be for nothing. Continue. Tell me I can rewind, okay. Ooh. In the distance, the sun breaks over the horizon. You have been awake all night, and you are weaker for it. Before you, the Blackland stretches away to a dim horizon. How can you hope to locate the 7 serpents in such a wilderness? My spirit will aid me. You sense your spirit guide, walking beside you. Right now it takes the form of the ape, but this will change as you change. In a temple they taught you that prayer to your spirit could heal you, and even save you from death. But the spirits are not generous, and decline to help often. Yeah, let's pray for healing, get the health back. At the cliff. After about half an hour, you see a deep black line across the earth, up ahead, and catch your step just in time. You are 1 pace away from the edge of a sheer cliff. Look over the edge. You approach the cliff edge and peer over. The drop is considerable, and the view beyond stretches for miles. Leading away to the left is what appears to be a carved staircase of rough stone blocks. In the far distance, birds wheel and turn above the landscape ahead. Okay, let's look at the staircase. Carved from the living rock, the steps, perhaps once smooth, are now warped and drilled with holes from the rain, but they lead downwards all the same. How did anyone carve such a slope? What did they stand on to sculpt the stones, so high up in the air? The top step is covered with a curious bright yellow moss. From across the plain you hear the distant sound of flapping wings. More nighthawks? But nighthawks do not fly when the sun is shining. Look back. Shutting your eyes against the low sun, you look south. The skies seem darker there, somehow, and 4 birds wheel against the sky. Then suddenly they break formation. One falls, another is torn to pieces. A figure moves in the darkness beneath. Look at the figure. You try to make out more through the darkness, but though you recognize the figure, you cannot place him. Call out? You cup your hands to shout to your mouth to call out, but suddenly the whole scene is gone. The plains and sky are empty once more. There is something very strange about this place. Okay, let's gather the moss. Intrigued, you grab a fistful of the moss. It is juicy and extremely pungent. Some moss are good to eat and contain much nutrition. I'm guessing some are poisonous and will kill you. Or most, probably. Okay, let's slash and put into my pack. You stow the moss into your pack, but it quickly dries and crumbles to so much dust. Sunlight sparkles in the distance. A lake, perhaps? Look at the view. As you stare out across the plains, the featureless dust revolves itself into low rocky outcrops and gullies. The landscape below is not as featureless as perhaps you first thought. Look at the mountains. Beyond the plains, a line of low mountains rises, the Badu Bak Ridge. A second higher range is visible beyond, the horns of Ikawala. Their summits must be subject to wild winds as from here. It seems that snow covers them one minute, and yet they are barren rock the next. Near nearer to hand, you see a spire of rock, rising proud like a stupa. But through the mist it seems sometimes that it has two prongs, and sometimes only one. Okay, let's climb down these steps. You stride onto the ancient stone staircase, trusting it will not crumble beneath your weight. Then one pace at a time you make your way slowly down to the sunken lands below. Halfway down. You clamber down the ancient staircase. It is painstaking work, as every step is about the height of your own body. Then, about halfway to the ground, you are forced to stop. Your steps below have fallen to rubble. Look at the remaining stairs. The steps on which you stand is in fine condition, perhaps sheltered from the weathering winds by the overhanging above. But the next is gone, as are the others after that. Stripped from the cliff face as though scourged, you can make out fragments of fallen rock scattered across the plain below. A few rocks skitter down the steep slope to the ground below. I don't want to cast a spell, but I might need to. You have no choice but to turn back or else jump. Okay, let's jump. Let's hope it doesn't take more than like one or two damage. You take a moment to gather your courage and then let yourself fall, far and fast onto broken stones. Land. 3. I think I was about the same as the spell. You land badly, and for a moment you are afraid that you have broken your ankle, but you manage to stand. The foot of the cliff is punctured by little holes, perhaps the warren of hill foxes, or whatever equivalent inhabitants these barren wastes. Okay, move on. So my plan is to go to that spot there and talk to the boy that tells me all the clues and stuff. I don't believe I found anything in this zone besides that. Although I did find that tree. Maybe we should go toward the tree. Okay. So let's follow the road there. You leave the shadow of the cliff for the road that cuts across the plain. The sun has reached its highest point now. Out of the shade, the air is baking hot. From here, the path is uncertain. Badu Bak is a wasteland, and there is no pass through the great ridge that forms its eastern border. The Zanzunu peaks and Mampang seem remote. They seem impossibly far away, and Yet a way must be found. When the Archmage sent his birdmen to steal the crown of kings, they flew. But you must walk. The path beckons. There is no alternative. The future of the old world depends on you finding your way across this lonely dust bowl. Oops. Okay, let's do the blasted tree event. You leave the road and walk across the desolate plain. The sun is beginning to lower, and the air begins to cool. After a while of walking, you see something to break the monotony. Too tall and thin for a skewer of a rock or a building, you cannot place it until you get closer. It is a single tree, leafless and dead, tilting from the desolate soil. Look up at the tree. The tree must be the last remnant of an ancient forest, though why this particular trunk has survived when all the others fell is not clear. And that is not all. A rope ladder hangs from one of the higher branches of the tree. Let's climb up the branches. Thinking you could get a better view of the land from the upper branches, you swing yourself onto the lowest bough, but then up onto the next. A moment later, you are on the ground with a painful thump. You didn't slip. You reach for a branch, and suddenly it was not there. Climb the rope ladder. You scramble up the rope ladder to get a view across the lands, but the branches seem to be alive. Twisting and bending as you climb, they are closing around you like a trap. Untie the ladder. Maybe we can get some rope. The knots holding the ladder to the branch are thick with age, but you manage to work them free. The branch underneath seems to lift in relief as it is removed. A moment later, another branch draws backwards behind you and releases, knocking you painfully to the ground. For a moment you hear a sound almost like a laugh. Well, I thought that was the spirit laughing, but I guess it was probably the tree. Look back up at the tree. You look back up at the tree resentfully, but now it is quiet still once more. Who's there? You demand. Stranger, the voice is faint, yelling, echoing. Stranger. Look for the speaker. You look around, behind the tree, over your shoulder, but the endless plain stretches away in all directions. There is no one in sight. Look up at the tree. You look into the branches of the tree to find the bare twigs. Bare twigs have curved themselves into a human face, an old man's face that looks down at you with overturned mouth. Stranger, the tree faces declares wistfully, you are lost. Where are you? You demand boldly. The tree shivers as though a breeze had passed through it. Perhaps it is a chuckle. I am a spirit, it replies, and an old friend. Ooh, I can make it guide me, maybe? Can you guide me? The branches flutter and break into a sudden gust of wind. The face disappears for a moment. You seek the whereabouts of Shadrach, of Badubak, the face declares. Where will I find him? You ask. Churn like a leaf in the morning, the face replies, sighing a deep sorrow of ash and autumn color. To the fishtail rock, he is expecting you. Another strong breeze catches the branches and disturbs them, and when they settle, the face has disappeared. Come back! You shout, but your words have no effect. Wait. You wait a short while longer, but it is no good. You walk away from the shade of the tree. Okay, east along the road. You walk across the plain until you meet the edge of the old road. The sun begins to dip, heading towards the horizon. The road snakes across the Dust Bowl. In the near distance, you make out something through the haze. Not a tower, but a spire of rock. It seems to flicker strangely. From behind you, a voice says, "Excuse me." Turn around. You turn around to find the road deserted. There is no one in sight, in any direction. So this is like from what Lorak said, like echoes of the desert or something. Where are you? You call. There is no reply. The cold wind whistles around you. The plains feel suddenly far emptier than a moment before. You continue along the ghost road. Head east. You follow the old road. The wind picks up as the evening draws on. It will be night soon again. Already. Look amongst the rocks. As you walk, you cast your eye over the rocks either side of your path. Good pebbles can be a useful ingredient in spellcasting, but they have to be the right shape and size. Most here are too angular or either too small or too large. There may be one or two. The best pebbles are formed by the action of the sea and not by cascades, rain, and scourging wind. But there may be one or two here which are suitable, buried amongst the rest. Finally you see a suitable stone. It is wedged beneath a larger rock. Pull it free. You reach down and try to tug it free. A resting boulder seems to teeter a moment. Keep pulling. You pull again, and the pebble comes free, the boulder above, rocking and then falling still. You breathe a quiet sigh of relief. Walk on. Pocketing the pebble, you walk on, being careful to keep your footing on the uneven ground. The road forks here, with the main path snaking up the mountainside to the east. Rocks have tumbled down the slope and all but covered the road. That's cool, getting a pebble. Didn't get that. And same with the goblin's teeth. Okay, look east. You cast your gaze east, towards the towering Badubak Ridge. The main peak is lost in the haze. At the end of the long, winding road that climbs the slope. Look north. Looking north, the road winds along the rocky edge of the foothills. A particularly impressive stone stupa stands out a little way along. Walk on. Stone shifts and moves underfoot as you walk. Okay, I believe the tornado thing is up ahead. Right here. I want to get that event again. The ground underfoot turns into rocks and scree. The sun is now in the lowest quarter of the sky. Soon it will be dark. You pause to rest in the shadow of the large rock spire that sticks from the dirt like a claw through cloth. Look at the rock. The rock is a single shattered spire, perhaps once part of the mountain range to the east, or perhaps driven up through the ground by some geological quirk. At the base of the rock is a mouth of a cave. That remains of an ancient fire pit are still visible to one side. I didn't have this last time. Look at the fire pit. The old fire pit is just an ancient ring of blackened stones that has collected a pool of sand from the stirring wind. Ooh, I think I could use sand. I'll gather the sand. You scoop up the handful of sand and put it into your pouch. It will be useful for magic. Look around the plain. All around, dusty plains stretch north and west. To the east, the mountains are gleaming in the afternoon sun. Look inside the cave. You approach the cave with one hand on your blade. The cave appears to go back some distance into pitch blackness. Someone seems to have scratched a message into the rock inside the cave. It is only just legible and must be ancient. Read the scratch message. In the thin sunlight falling into the cave, you can make out the ancient scratched message with some difficulty. Stranger, I am waiting, very long ago. Summon you. Call my name to the skies and I will. Adra. Try calling out the name. The message on the cave wall suggests calling out a name, but what name should you call? Shadrach. You cry the name across the plains, and the echo of it seems to set off a distant avalanche. The ground begins to shake and rumble, and you stagger to your knees. The very earth is moving, as though it was splitting, or merging back together. You reach down to stay yourself, only to find that the grass is growing between your fingers. Continue. Or change the land. You pick yourself unsteady to your feet, feeling sick and unwell. Everything around you is the same, but everything is different. The rock has two spires. For one thing, the cave seems smaller and darker, and the fire pit outside, a fire is burning. From inside you hear the gentle sound of singing. Listen. You stop to listen. The singer is a man, with a voice like gravel moving over ice. He sings in a language you do not recognize, but its tune feels at once arresting and ancient, and the melody seems to soothe your soul. Approach the fire. You approach the fire. Call out for Shadrach. What's that? Shadrach, you cry, I'm here. The singing stops abruptly. There is coughing and wheezing sound. Oops. And then an old man hobbles out from the cave, limping on a stick. This must be Shadrach himself, but he recognized the face as that of the tree spirit he met earlier. "Ah, it's you," he declares, speaking thickly through his beard. "I have been expecting you." He waves a hand around the landscape. "Welcome back." "You are Shadrach the Hermit?" you ask. The man nods. "I am he. Welcome to my humble house in this delightful land," he smiles. "I know your mission, of course. I know all about you." Show him the Eagle message. You pull the message from your pack. "I was given this," you explain. "It mentions you." He scans it and looks up. Your diviners are most impressive, or, perhaps our meeting has simply been remembered. Yes, that is more likely. Then his eye narrows as he reads on. 7 serpents, yes, but now I see they have sent you to me. What do you know of them? A little. He nods slowly, thinking. I must warn you that no one from Ireland has ever crossed the Backlands alone and survived. What are the dangers? The land is cursed, Shadrach replies. The very rocks and earth here are lost. Things become unstuck, and you have now become unstuck yourself. Can this curse be lifted? Shadrach appears to consider this for a moment, then finally replies, No, most likely not. He demonstrates with his finger as he speaks, twisting them together. The old world and the ancient world have grown together like thorny bushes. To journey through one is to journey through the other. How did the curse come to be? The land was cursed by the Archmage to be forgotten, and so it has been, and so it will be. Not long now, and then all you see will be gone. Only timeless desolation will remain. But why? he demands. Because of you, Shadrach replies sharply. The Archmage punished this whole land to make a trap to kill you, before you could kill him. He is a dangerous enemy. He is quite desperate. I understand he has sent 7 serpents, he replied, to kill me. The hermit nods most seriously. The serpents are most terrible, he answers. I have often seen them, but they are no mere snakes. Do you know of their legend? Tell me. Shadrach nods. It is said that thousands of years from now, a few years ago, for you, perhaps, the Archmage of Mampang fought and slew a mighty hydra which dwelt in the caves of High Jaman. So formidable a foe was this creature that the Archmage took its 7 heads back to Mampang, where he used his dark arts to resurrect them as 7-winged serpents. They became his personal messengers, his assassins, his force in the dark place. How do I kill them? Shadrach nods. A good question. Each serpent has a spirit to sustain it, that grants a great power, but also a power of weakness. Discover these weaknesses and you may be able to defeat the serpents. Unexpectedly, Shadrach stumbles. He smiles at you weakly. Do you have any food? You ask, thinking practically. Shadrach shakes his head. I am too holy to eat, but if you can reach Kare north of the river, you may be able to eat well there, if it still exists in your time. Most likely it does not. Shadrach is shivering slightly now. His face is pale behind the ruddy beard. Are you unwell? You ask. Perhaps you have a weakness yourself? This whole land is unwell, he replies. I will not be able to stay here very long. He gasps suddenly. Please, ask me what you need to know, and then leave. Do you know the serpent's weaknesses? You demand urgently. He shakes his head. Ah, but those are most closely guarded of secrets, hidden from simple divination. Please remember, to me, all this is yet to pass. He smiles thinly. But one thing I have seen the air serpent defeated, and I can tell you how it is done. Bid him continue. You remain silent, gesturing for him to continue. It happened like this. The air serpent, huge and terrible, has transformed itself into a puff of gas that could suffocate and choke its foes. But this form, its empty body was weak, and when the husk was destroyed, the serpent was also destroyed also. Shadrach coughs and shivers. Friend, he murmurs, I wish I didn't have to go, but I must, if I am to close the circle. He gets his stick and pushes himself up to his feet. Farewell, then, and thank you. Shadrach nods. We will meet again. We have already met, I think. He waves a hand at his cave. I have left one more thing for you in there. Travel well. Remember, when you walk through the fields of Ishtara, you are safe from the serpents. But if you do not return to your own time, you will never defeat them. How can I travel between these lands? Look to the beacons, he answers, cryptically. If any have survived in your time, they will hold a little of our ancient light still. There is one to the north of here, at least by the river. Go there. Reaching over, he places his hand on either side of your head, and you feel a great lightness entering your body. That done, he turns and stamps away across the grass. Follow him? You get up to race after him, but a moment later he has disappeared, lost in the haze that hangs above the grasslands. You remember what he has said. The land is cursed. Unstuck. It seems he used his power to bring you together, but you have now once more drifted apart. You are left alone by the cave mouth once more. Look inside the cave. You look into the cave again, and this time find a strange horn hanging from a hook on the wall. It is ornately carved from strange twisting shell, with a hide of leather. It is a Galahorn, one of very few in existence. You lift it down with great care. Move on. You make your way back to the old road, that runs past the rock. To the north you catch a great glimpse of a tower Shadrach mentioned, covered in green ivy. West, you noticed a young tree that surely wasn't there before. Yeah, I found two new clues. Let's see if I have the horn. I'm not sure if I got that. Magical items? I do. Sweet. Wow. I'm doing better than I was before, even though I don't have that sword or some things. Other items? Oh, I've got a rope ladder too. Okay. Clues! So now I know of the 7 serpents that in your journey. Yes. When the air serpent leaves its body, it has a cast. Its body is vulnerable. Oh, this is the fishtail rock. Okay. Sword and broadsword. Magical items. Okay. Doing really well. The tree. Oh, this is the tree I was talking to. You head out to cross the pyre. Night falls. You should find somewhere safe to sleep. If you keep going through the night, you will be weaker for it. Especially after so long walking with an empty belly. Night creatures snuffle and burrow through the grass. A dead tree you saw earlier is now a young, strong sapling. In its shadow a woman sits cross-legged with eyes closed. Look at the woman. You watch the woman for a moment. She is breathing in and out slowly and murmuring under her breath. Perhaps she is praying. Round her neck she wears what looks like a giant tooth on a leather string. A fleet of long, thin birds swoop and career overhead, snatching flies from the chilling air. Greet the woman. You approach the meditating woman and cough quietly. Greetings. The woman opens one eye, then shakes her head sadly. You're meant to be over there, she says, pointing a little way to the east. What do you mean? She shakes her head, opening her other eye. No matter. They tell me I will get better at divination with practice. She offers her hand. Shake her hand? And she laughs. How very formal. Well met, stranger. My name is Elthera. Welcome to Ishtara, the land of peace and plenty. Shadrach calls this place Ishtara as well. You remark. Of course, such it is, she smiles. But I see from your bearing you truly are a stranger here. Ishtara is an ancient world from Zenzunu peaks in the east to the cloud-capped mountains north, and down to the South Sea. I am from Analand, you explain. It seems from her expression that name means nothing to her. You must have traveled far, she replies. She nods politely. Will you sit with me for a while? Sit with her. You sit down on the long grass opposite her. She smiles at you. I need to practice my third eye, she says, tapping what appears to be a small gem stuck to her forehead. Perhaps we could play? And reaching into her pocket, she produces a handful of small dice, stone dice. What is this game? We call these mind stones, she says, though my teacher tells me they are called Swindlestones elsewhere. The game is simple. We each roll our dice in secret, and then we state how many dice of a certain value we have between us. I try to read your thoughts as you try to read mine. Will you play? I am no telepath, you say. Nor me, but I am learning. Will you help me practice? What is the stake, you ask? She laughs. Perhaps if you win, I will give you the dice. How is that? Let's play. I'll play, you declare. Elthera smiles. Thank you. You will find me a serviceable opponent, I hope. Elthera counts out 4 dice each and takes first bid. Roll dice. 1 moment. The game is simple. We roll and bet on what's coming up. So, for instance, I might start and bet that between us we've rolled at least 2 4s. But we don't know what's been rolled, so I'm guessing. But I don't know what you've got. What happens if your bid is too high? Let me think. If you believe my bid is too high, you call and we check. Otherwise, we keep bidding higher and higher. Very well then. I call. Let's see if you're right. There are 3 4s. Ethera wins the round. So you live out here? Clear your mind. Not in the prairie. I live nearby. I see no villages. I will try. Most are northernward, but I live up in the cliff. I am studying. Let's call. Oh, there is 4 4s. 1 moment. Your mind is very confusing. I should be able to see clearly into it, but I can't. The game would be rather easy if you could. There's nothing easy about the sight. What is it? Okay. Now I think you're bluffing. There are 2 4s. She wins. When I came this way earlier, it was a wasteland. A wasteland? This is a land of plenty and peace. So this place has never been a desert? Of course not. Poor traveler, you must be wary. There are 3 4s. The round is yours. So, you are a traveler? Not by choice. No? I long to travel. Travel is wearing. Traveling is a wonder. We are all the sum of places we have seen and nothing more. Only 1 4. She wins. That is the game. You lose. She laughs with pleasure. Your mind is so open and easy to read, she exclaims, without tact. Please, will you play again? I'll play. She hands you the dice and waves you to bid. Okay, let's say there's 1, 2. 2 fours. Let's say there is 4 fours. Okay, let's call. You've gone too high. Oh, she win. That's surprising. You have come through care? It is a foul city. It's such a small place. Sadrak says it will be important, but I doubt it. I would not recommend that you visit. Roll the dice. Do I win that round? Let me see. 1, 4. 2 twos. Let's try 4 twos. Well then, 5 twos. I think you're wrong. What? Roll again. You have lots of questions. I'm new here. I cannot answer all your questions. I am only young. Reveal dice. No one wins it all. Belthra wins the round? Okay. Let's see. 1, 2. 2 twos? Let's call. Dang. Game over. Another game? I'll play. I'm exploring the plains. Where should I go? What do you wish to find? People? Magic? A good view? People, food, shops, information? For people, head north to Karema, but the real wonder is Lake Ikla itself. Only 2 threes. Okay, let's say there are 3 threes. 4 threes. Got her, unless she has 4 threes. Sweet. I win. That round. Let's see, let's start on 2 ones. Okay. Let's say there are 4 fours. I'll raise that 4 fours. 5 fours. She's gone too high. Let's see about that. Oh, wow. There are 4. Roll dice again. 1 moment. Let's see. Let's say there's 3 twos. She calls. Only 2. Ah, man. Let's start with 1 3. 2 fours. 3 fours. Ah, no. Seems like she has 2 4s as well. Let's call. No! 1 2. 2 2s. 3 2s. Skyr. Call. Only 2 2s. The round is mine. Let's open up with 1 2. 2 1s. Oh. Call. Only 1 1. The round is yours. I win, don't I? Athara laughs. You are a challenging mind, she declares. May we play again? One more time. Let's say there is 2 1s. Okay, let's say there's 4 2s. 6 2s. Okay, does she have a full row of 2s? That's what I'm thinking. Oh, she only had 4. Okay. There were only 4, I mean. Let's say there's 3 1s. 4 1s. Okay, let's call. Only 2 1s. The round is mine. Let's say there are 2 1s. 2 4s. Yeah, 4 4s. I meant 4 2s. I'm making it very confusing. Okay, let's call. I win the round. Well, again. Let's see, let's go with 4 3s. She calls. So if she doesn't have a 3, then... Ooh, sweet. I win the round. Okay. Let's say there are 1 4. Well then, 2 4s. Call. Tricked. Continue. You flick Elthar's final die onto the ground. I win, you tell her. Elthra laughs. Your thoughts are deep, she declares. Another game? No more. You reply, shaking your head. I am growing tired. She nods, gathering up the dice. She drops them into your palm. Here, take these, she declares. You will have better use of them than I. I foresee as much. Take 'em. You thank her and drop the dice into your pack. She nods and gets to her feet. I must be going, she says. Travel well. Come and visit me if you will. She waves in the direction of the cliff you came down when you entered the backlands, but quite why is not clear. Then she hurries away. Look at the tree. The tree is relatively young, fresh and strong, as though it has been planted a few minutes before. It is hard to believe that this is the same tree you saw before, so tall and very dead, but the position is the same. Look around. With the woman gone, you look around the plain. South and west, the great fault line of the cliff shows out the sky, and its top seems as dark as night. North, the grass stretches away towards the distant flashing line that seems to cut across the land. Rest here. You set your eyes down on the plain, sorry that there is no tree trunk to rest your back against. You have not yet eaten today, and you have a few provisions remaining. Okay, let's eat. You sleep a quantity of... Oh, not sleep. You eat a quantity of your cheese and bread and feel much better for it. Then you close your eyes and let the tiredness overtake you. The silence is loud in your ears. Slowly you are understanding the true loneliness of this place. You long for human company, but there is no one here. Sleep. A dream quickly becomes a nightmare. There is a rope around your neck, growing tighter. The king of Ireland stands before you, cursing you of your failure. You were sent for the crown, he spits, but instead you wandered the wilderness like a fool. Protest. You try to protest your innocence, but you cannot speak. You can't even find words to breathe. Vow to do better. You make a whispered vow through your crushed windpipe to do better, to serve better, but the words comes the, with the words comes the crushing sense that you cannot hope to succeed. You know it, and so does the king, and the rope around your neck both tightens and grows thicker, until it is like an arm, crooked at your throat. Your eyes flicker open. A despair snake is wrapped around your throat, breathing its miserable breath into your eyes. Draw my sword. The snake leaps back from you, burying its fangs. Let's hit heavy. Well, it blocks. The despair snake snaps and hisses at the air between you, and you feel quite dispirited. You slash out, thinking maybe at least you might sever its head, as it slivers away where you cannot hope to possibly reach it. It lifts up, burying its mighty fangs. You know it to be an impossible enemy. You cannot hope to survive. Thrust. Yes! The despair snake is retreating. Of course, but you manage to more or less keep pace. You swipe at the air with your sword. For what good it will do, you blow its home striking into the soft flesh of the useless snake's exposed neck. The despair snake lashes out wildly, and you are filled with a sense of melancholy longing. It spits and coils up, and you lose track of it. But then again, what does it matter where it is? Okay, it attacks small. Ooh, it hit me heavy. The despair snake is sliding across the rocks toward you. With lethal speed, you try to cut across its body, but of course it catches the blow with its hard tail tip. It knocks you backwards. Your head spins. It disappears into the shadows. It's block. You curl up into a crouch. The despair snake coils around you, hissing but not connecting. Your thoughts are filled with old age and disease. It shrinks away. It's block again. You cannot lift your head. The despair snake circles you, threatening you but not landing a blow. You cannot help but picturing what might happen if you broke your leg. It slithers off into the darkness all around. Let's swing with all I can. Ah, no. You wait as the despair snake shifts, foolishly exposing its belly. Then you attack, sadly. You bring your sword down, but it recoils, hissing and spitting. The despair snake is moving more like a slug now. You can't help feeling it seemed quite pathetic. It raises itself and displays its vicious jaws. With luck, it will leave you alone. You are surely beneath it. The string. Oh no! 3 damage? I might want to restart this battle. 5 damage is a lot. Suddenly, the spare snake is moving forwards toward you. You attempt a cut across its body, but predictably it parries the blow with its hard tail tip. Then it bashes you with a flick of its body, and its deadly teeth come through your eyes, catching a long, bloody gash down your face. You are bleeding heavily. Typical. Block. See, I'm gonna restart this, I think. You fall back, exhausted. The despair snake slithers toward you, but you repair its disgust with your blade. You fall badly as you stagger back. It hisses in the darkness. Your only friend. You try to keep going as the snake winds away. Swinging forwards, you cut at the beast's neck. All this fighting seems so unnecessary. With a final heartfelt sigh, the despair snake falls to the ground and promptly expires, as though simply giving in. You simply feel much better. Much better. Okay, try again. I know I can do better. Oh, it blocked. Okay, I think I'll just fight. Oop, okay. Let's rewind a little bit. Oh, I rewound it all the way. I didn't expect that. I was expecting the battle to rewind. It was gonna go the exact same way I just did it. Okay, shake your hand. So I'm gonna have to play all the Swindle Stones again. So let's play it 2 times or until I stop getting questions, I think. Maybe 3 times then. So are you a traveler? I am a sorcerer. But a wandering one, I think. I long to travel. Travel is wearing. No, traveling is wearing, and there is never enough food. Perhaps you could travel with me. Let's do this option. I am quite sure I could not. I would slow you down. Let's start with 1, 2. 2 fours. 4 fours. Here's a bid. 5 fours. Let's call. There's 5. Okay. Your mind is very confusing. I should be able to see clearly into it, but I can't. I'm glad you can't. That's not very generous of you. Now I think you're bluffing. She wins. So do you live out here? Not in Prairie, I live nearby. Are there many people here? A whole world's worth. Why, stranger? The sun has put its heat inside your skull, I fear. Oh, I win. I think I did. I lost. Say 2 ones. She wins. Okay. I'll play. Roll dice. Okay, so this one. 2 ones. Okay. Both. For people, head north to Karama for magic and a view. There are the beacons, the towers, but the real wonder is Lake Iklala itself. Kids call. I hope to reach the lake eventually. She wins. You have come through care? I have. It's such a small place. Sadrak says it will be important, but I doubt it. I would be happy to never go back. This isn't going well. 1 3. 2 4s. 3 4s. Okay, let's call. You've gone too high. Whoa, 6 4s. 1 3. 2 3s. I don't think there's a way around that one. Oh, if I caught 4s. Okay. Let's play. At least one play until I win. I think I was gonna win. That one. When I came this way earlier, it was a wasteland. A wasteland? This is a land of plenty and peace. I don't understand what has changed. Is this one here? So this place never been a desert? Of course not. Poor traveler, you must be wary. I suppose so. Ah, she wins. You have lots of questions. I'm new here. I cannot answer all your questions, I am only young. Then who can I ask? Only villagers is the foothills past the river. Our best diviners are there. Everything that is known, they know. Cool? Okay. 2 ones. Okay, let's do 3 twos again. Oh, 4 twos, okay. 5 twos, nope, not possible. Two threes. 3 ones. She called instantly. Let's see. 1 1. I guess she rolled twos as well, so 4 twos. Yep. 1 4. Okay, it's 2 fours. Okay. I win the round. Continue. No more. You reply, shaking your head, I'm growing tired. Okay, and then she gives me the dice. I'll take them. Okay, I'll look at the tree as well. Look around. Okay, let's rest. And also eat something. Sweet. Let it get more information. Okay, draw my sword. So let's just attack with 1 hit. Sweet. That is much better. Okay, let's attack heavy this time. So much better. Okay, again. Oh, now that time it hit me. Oh no. It's kind of like last time. Okay, let's defend again. Okay, it's hit heavy. Ah, it's just blocked. Still. Okay, block. Guessing it's gonna block again. Okay, I block. It ended up being the same battle. Okay, let's try again. I'm gonna need that stamina, I already know, because the bridge takes like 3 at least. Maybe even more. Okay, block. Okay, and let's swing. Swing heavy. Sweet. I think he's gonna defend this time. It's him. Oh, just barely. Okay. There we go. That's much better. Okay, continue. You gasp with relief as you clean your blade, and on the skin of the split snake, something falls out of its belly. There's a key. Look at the key. Look over the key. Aside from the snake blood running between the teeth, it is a normal enough iron key. The snake must have swallowed it at some point and been stuck within it ever since. You pick it up, wipe it clean, and put it into your pack. It is unlikely you'll ever find the lock that opens it. It opens, but if you do, it will be almost be a most pleasant surprise. A cold night closes in over you, and you try to sleep. Day 2. You use one provision, reach the pit of the Bachlands, and met Shadrach the hermit. Next morning, you get to your feet once more. Move on. You turn your attention back to the landscape. So this tower is probably the thing they're mentioned. I tried so many spells and things to try and figure out what it was, and this time I'll know what to do. Probably. You walk on across the grassland until you join an old road. A few clouds scud across the sky. Away from the road to the northeast, a curious stone tower stands alone, overlooking the river. Towards the tower. Wow, there's a lot more options this time. You step off the well-paved road and cut across the grassy fields that have somehow replaced the plain that was here before. As the morning moves on, the wind begins to rise. You reach the shadow of the tower, Shadrach called the beacon. Its sides are too smooth to be natural, and yet there are no stones or brickwork. It is like a gigantic game piece, carved from a single block of stone. Thick gripweed curls up and around the tower like wool round a bobbin. Beyond it, a river rushes past. Look for a door in the tower. You walk a full circuit of the tower, hoping to find a doorway, but there is nothing to see. The tower's sides are made of solid stone. If needed, it is a tower. If indeed it is a tower. From the very top, something metal glints in the sunshine. Look at the glint. Cranking your neck and squinting against the sun, you try to make out what the gleam is. Some kind of brass fitting seems to jut out over the side. Strange to see worked metal and stone out here. Wasn't this place supposed to be barren? Tug of the gripweed? You give the gripweed shoots of a sharp tug. The plant is tough as a rope, and seems to be firmly anchored into the stone of the tower. Move on or climb up? Let's look at the river. You pause for a while, watching the river rushing past. The sound is calming, even though it is on the far side of the plains continue, and somehow you must cross. Move on or climb up? The weed seems to grow all the way up to the top. Let's climb up. Quickly you grab the gripweed and scramble up the outside of the tower. The roots of the thick plant offer plenty of footholds, and the ascent is easy enough. Soon you are hauling yourself over the battlements onto the top of the tower. You stand atop the tower. The wind across the prairie whips at your hood, and the ground seems like an endless green sea far below. But the top is not empty. Indeed, there is barely room to stand. Most of the floor space is taken up by a large brass contraption that has been built into the middle of the floor. Look at the view. From here you can see all the way from the low mountains in the east to a cliff face that curves around the south and west. and the rushing river that splits the land to north. Look toward the mountains. Looking away into the mountains, they rise suddenly and steeply, blocking the view beyond. Dark-winged shapes circle their highest peaks, more nightwings, perhaps, or worse. But their slopes are partially wooded, with grass around the double spike of Fishtail Rock. Look at the cliff. You look back at the cliff face, down which you came. For a moment you seem to see a line of steps leading down the slope, past a dark smudge. It is a small cave mouth you saw earlier. For a moment the mountains to the east seems to spring into thick woodland, as though a dusty cloud had lifted, revealing a forest below. Then the mountain passes once more. Look at the plains. The plains around the rock are green and pleasant, but that greenery ends abruptly in dust on all sides. The effect is like a square of moonlight on the dark floor, or lonely rising rock rising from the surface of a stagnant lake. Do something else. You turn your attention away from the view. Birds wheel and tumble in the air a short distance away. Look at the contraption. This tower is clearly built to house a brass contraption in the center of the turret. You look it over with curious interest. A large brass cylinder. It is set into a bearing in the center of the tower, and protrudes a short way over the battlement. It is rather like one of the Chief Mage's telescopes. But why would anyone set such a complex device out here, in the wastes? Look through it. You crouch to look through the cylinder, but find you cannot, as it has no eyepiece. The device disappears unbroken in the brass mounting of the device. The bearing underneath the cylinder looks as though it might allow the contraption to move. Furthermore, set in the central dome is an impressive-looking blue crystal. Look at the blue crystal. The blue crystal is not a gem you recognize. It pulses with a small interior glow, as though something lived inside. Okay, let's move the cylinder thing. You push the cylinder and it swivels around the top of the tower, moving quite easily as though recently oiled. Nothing else appears to happen, however. Okay, let's see, what can I cast here? That's dangerous. Fog. No. Force field? Protection from magic? No. That's us, okay. Okay, I don't think there's anything to do. Let's take the crystal. You touch the crystal, but as your fingers brush the glass, something happens, and you feel yourself whipped up into the air as though catapulted. For a dizzy moment, you seem to stare down at the entire land of Badubak. Then a moment later, you are back on your feet, head reeling, but feeling curiously powerful. Touch the crystal again. You reach out to touch the crystal again, only to catch yourself. The blue crystal on the contraption is flashing brilliantly, and then suddenly the cylinder ignites with a thick beam of syrupy light. The beam floods across the landscape, cutting through the mist and warping the view like a heat haze. Yeah, found one new clue. The land in the light of the beam has changed. It seems the magic you witnessed earlier is happening again. Look at the view. The view is now particularly lit with the beam of the tower, and a different land appears in the light. Birds fly gently, a gentle wind stirs pollen in a haze. Look at the beam. Careful not to touch the light, you examine the beam. It seems to come into focus a few cubits from the edge of the tower, and then flood outwards, changing the very color of the air as it goes. On the ground you see dusty sand beneath its light, with grass growing on either side. This must be the beacon that Shadrach mentioned. Adjust the beam? Huh, that's cool. Can I get both the tower and... Okay, so there's another one of those towers there. So this contraption lets me basically be able to... What's that over there? That's so cool. Is there anything over there? Oh, there's a bridge. Okay, so I think doing it over there would be good. You adjust the beam around its track, sweeping land over the land below. A light over the land below. Climb down the tower. With the beacon blazing away, you swing yourself over the battlement once more. After an uncertain moment, you find the gripweed and clamber swiftly down. If it breaks, I think I'll go backwards and move it to the right direction. You scramble down the tower and drop the last few feet to the ground level. Oops. Leave. South of here, the Grand Road runs from the west to the east across the plain. Looks like some sort of tent. You return to the road. The sun is hot now. From behind you, a voice says, "Excuse me." Turn around. You whip around to find a small boy holding a Gallahorn in his hand. He pushes it towards you. I already have one like that. you tell him. The boy giggles behind his hand. No, you don't, he answers. You dropped it. Thinking. You nod your head and thinks. The boy smiles and puts the Gallhorn into your hands. Then he steps back and waits for something. Offer him a reward? You look into your pack for a suitable reward. Offer him 3 gold pieces. Into his palm. The boy's smiles grow wide at the sight. Thank you, he breathes. By Throff, I'm glad I followed you. I mean, that I was here. You know what I mean? He puts the gold into a pocket. You squat down onto your ankles to the boy to be more at the boy's level. He is clearly local and likely to know a lot about the area. What do you know of the 7 serpents? You ask the boy. Nothing, he shrugs. Sounds like one of Shadrach's stories. This is probably the same boy that I met that fell into the tornado. Where are you from? You continue. Care, he replies, to your surprise. But I run errands. All the way to Tin Pine sometimes. The boy is starting to look twitchy. So you know Shadrach, you ask? Of course I do. He replies, everyone knows Shadrach. He's a brute that beats children if they make too much noise near his cave. You didn't seem like a brute to me. He hates children, the boy replies. He says that they are all thieves and villains. The boy hops from foot to foot. What can you tell me about the towers? You ask. The beacons? The boy shrugs. Why are you interested in them? They're most strange. Just magic, the boy replies, with a sulky shrug. The boy smiles, quickly. I have to go now. I really have to go. Why? I'm in a hurry, he answers, unformatably. With a final nod, he is in the other direction along the road. It is only later you realize he somehow swiped the rope ladder from your pack. I stole from me? Across the plain. Alright. Well, I've almost made it to the same position as I was last time. But I think this is a good spot to stop. I'm not in the same position, like right here or a new day. So I hope that this will not have any problems. Although, if there is, then I can easily go back here. But I don't know, if there's another problem, then that would be quite frustrating. Anyways, I hope you've been enjoying it. Please leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment down below about what you think of the complete change. I mean, from not having Lorog, I have been able to do I'm actually able to do this area's quest basically, rather than just walking through the lands. Haven't met any of those serpent creatures yet. Although, one thing to note, I have clues that I probably shouldn't have. That is nice. I'll tell you real quick. The fire serpent attacks where you're sleeping, and the fire serpent doesn't like the sand. I have sand, so fire serpent's gonna be pretty easy, I think. The water serpent doesn't like oil, And the moon serpent is scared of fire. And there's also a time serpent somewhere. And those are the clues that I shouldn't have. So that is cool. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you later.